Hello and welcome to Chair Yoga Plus. Sometimes we have things around the house that'll help enhance our practice. In yoga, we call these props. In chair yoga, our major prop is right here. We're sitting in it. It's the chair. Today I'm going to add to our practice the use of blocks. And you can see I have my yoga blocks here. But you can also use a very heavy, thick book for your practice if you don't have blocks. So please join me as we practice with props today. So we'll start out, put the props off to the side and sit in our chair. Roll the shoulders down your back, engage your core, and let's rock side to side. Feel the evenness of the hips in the chair here. Rocking only a little, just enough to feel that. And then we'll circle. And again, you'll feel that weight shift in your hips, but you're using a little more core to hold you here. Let's go in the other direction. And then come up nice and tall. So sitting in our chair nice and tall, I'm going to take one of our props, place it right down in front of us. Feet straddle on either side. We're going to take a foot, we're going to tap the top of that block, and we'll bring the foot down. Tap the top of the block, bring it down. Let's try it with the other foot. Tap and down. Easy, right? Yeah. But you'll be surprised where we can take this, right? So we're going to come a little bit more forward in the chair, feet a little farther apart now. And instead of tapping the top of that block, step over the block. And if you're using a book, step over the book. Tap the other side. Let's try it with the other foot. Up and over and back and down. A little more range of motion, a little more lift here. And then come back to center. Taking the block between your feet, let's reach down for it carefully and place that block between our thighs. Now you can place it this way or this way or this way, whichever is most comfortable for you. I like it hot dog style, they say, right? So I'll turn the purple side out and sit tall. And we're just going to squeeze and release. Now you're going to still feel the glutes working here, but now we're using glutes and inner thighs with the block. So the block adds to our work, strengthening the body here using our prop. Beautiful. One more. Very, very nice. And now we'll take that block and we'll lift it up overhead, palm to palm or each side of that block. Now, if you're using a book and it feels a little heavy, just bring your arms up without the book. Just feel how bringing that block over the top of our head lines up our spine a little bit, shoulders down your back, and then we'll bring it down in front of us, and we'll take it to the side as if we're going to set it on the side table. Back to center, over to the other side, and center, side to side. Here, the block is just adding a focus for us. And then we'll take that block and put it behind us and sit back and put our spine right up against that block. And you'll notice how that makes me sit a little taller. I'm going to turn my chair so that you can see. I place it not down by my hips, but right along my spine, and then wrap the shoulders down and around so that they too are touching that block. Just holding here, feet on the earth, chin maybe slightly tucked. And from here, we'll turn our head from side, center, side, center again. One more time. And then bring the arms up, keeping that block right where it is. Don't lose it. And then float the arms out in front of you. Bring the hands into the heart. Push them forward, up, forward, and in. Adding on, forward, out. I got the wall here, so I got to be careful. In, up, out in front of you, and in towards the spine. All the while pressing into that block. Keeping the spine long and engaged. And release. Carefully release the block and bring it forward again. I'm going to move my chair one more time. And I'm going to place the block on the side of the chair, placing a foot on top of the block. Now here I recommend it to be on the thickest, widest part on the floor so that it gives your foot the best support. And we're going to take the other foot back. Now you can prop this other knee on the block. We're not coming out of the chair, so that's A-okay. You wouldn't want to come out of the chair, but that helps support that leg. Or you could just let it dangle, right? But today we're using our props. So we're using our chair and our blocks to enhance our practice. This foot is a little bit higher, and now we're going to lean out over that leg, draw the shoulders back, and reach the arms forward. Another good use for this second block, and if it's not under the knee, is to reach that forward also, keeping the arms parallel. And then very carefully bring the block towards the body, lift up. If your block is underneath your knee, we're going to remove that one first, step the other foot off the block. Now if you're using a book, you want to put the book up on this high end here. We're going to come feet flat on the earth, hips nicely supported in the chair, about 3/4 or more. We're going to take one hand down to that block for a side bend here. Be careful, there's not too much weight on my block, otherwise the block's going to go fall over. So I just want a light touch with my fingers on the block, and then we'll do that on the other side. If you're using a book, you can just switch it. And if you're using a book, it's even better because then you have to just be very light on it or it does fall over. And then come up to center. Now take your block in your hand, step one foot out to the side, place the block on the inside nearest the chair. We're going to place a hand on that and take the other arm out at an angle. And this is our triangle in the chair with the block, using the block for support. So not too much weight in the block. That keeps the weight off the leg so that we don't hyperextend. And then we'll bring the top arm down, come up, grab hold of your block, step that in. We're going to do that on the other side. So we step the foot out first, place the block on the inside of the leg, and then lean over towards that leg, place our hand there, holding on to the block. Other arm comes up at an angle. And then once you're here, you want to bring those shoulders back. Not too much weight. See, I can even pick my block up here. There's not too much weight here. I'm lifting my weight up and out of the chair through the spine, strengthening the core. And then release it back. Lift the block. I'm going to put the blocks behind me for a moment and come back to using just our chair. We want to squeeze the glutes and release. Squeeze and release. Now I'm going to come up out of the chair. So we rise up. And if you need to put your hand on the chair as you sit back down, but not too much weight in that hand just to guide you, and then we come up again. Using the strength in the legs and the position of the chair. This is really good for strengthening the upper legs, and it gives us that security, if you will, the stability of the chair. And down. Now I'm going to stand all the way up, and we're going to use the chair for down dog. Now, most of the time in my practices, I use the back of the chair. Today, we're going to use the seat of the chair and our blocks. So we place the blocks in the seat of the chair. They got to be right in the middle, and then we're going to press down so that we push the blocks into the seat of the chair as we walk our feet back. And then we lower our head in between our elbows here. And feel the strength of your wrists starting to develop here as we press down. And then when we come up, we look forward, arch the back, and down. Now, how can the blocks help us here? Well, sometimes our wrists feel really sore, so we place our hands over the edge of the block as we do this, or the back of the block, depending on what you need. I like the back of the block best. Experiment in your down dog. So releasing the wrists down towards the chair, and let the block support you in that way, or reach them forward for a deeper stretch in your back. Keep the chin tucked. Be mindful of your shoulders. And then bend your knees, walk it in, and round yourself up to a standing position. Very nice. Keep the blocks in the chair. I'm going to use just one here. Step the feet wide. And we're going to come into triangle once again, this time standing. So turn the toes nearest the chair towards the chair. Other foot can come forward just a little bit. Arms up into a T. We're going to bring our hand down to the block and take the other arm at that diagonal from the bottom arm. And again here, you could drape the fingers over the block or the wrist off the back of the block to relieve any pressure in your wrists. Tuck the chin and hold. So here again, this just brings the seat of the chair up a little bit, but it's lower than using the back of the chair. So it's the next level down, if you will. And then bend the front knee, come up, and step the feet into mountain. Doing it on the other side, you just turn around, place your hand on the block, step the feet apart, lean towards that block once again, and when you're ready, the other arm comes up. Tucking the chin, reaching through the crown, and then bend the knees slightly, come up, step the feet, and come into your mountain pose. Using the block in the chair brings the seat of the chair up to us so that we get more extension in our pose. So give it a try sometime. Practice with the block. Bringing my chair center, making sure the blocks are out of my way. Another good use for the block is to just bring the floor up so that we're sitting more at a right angle in the knees and the hips. And that's always a nice feeling too. You could use one block as I'm doing here, or you could turn them hot dog style and put both feet on the block. Feels nice. And then we'll step off the block and take the blocks again off to the side, and then step up onto them here while we're in the chair, not standing, while we're in the chair. Turn the toes out, and we come into that goddess pose. And I actually find this very beneficial to use the blocks in goddess pose. So let's bring the arms up, Now, if you're not using them on your feet, you could put a block behind you in the chair. I don't have 3 blocks, so I'll just kind of improvise here like this. Now, if you're using a book, it might not work as well behind you. And so in one of our other videos, I'll show you how to use a blanket for that purpose also. Right now, goddess pose right here. And we bring the elbows forward and back. And then out to the side and down and up, sort of like a diamond shape here, and down into the ribs. Feel the openness in the chest, and then release it. Squeeze downward, drawing the ribs down towards the hips, and release them. One more. And release it all. Place your hands on your thighs, step off your blocks, and place your blocks off to the side, sitting tall in your chair. Now, if you're using the blocks for your feet in mountain pose, you could do that also by placing them under your feet. Hands at your side. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. And then take one arm across and hold it there. Palm is towards the back. Just get a little stretch in that shoulder. Once you're here, drop the shoulder down. Now again, if you want to use the block here, you sit back and you keep the upper body nice and tall as you hold the arm here. That feels nice too. Give it a try. Other side. And then open wide, turn palms up, turn palms down. Rotating through the whole arm here. And then we'll bring the hands in front of us and keeping that block against the chair, push into the palms. Feel the core working here as we draw the belly in and up. And then release down, mountain in the chair. Still have the block behind me, still haven't lost it. Keeps us nice and tall. Circle your wrists. Circle them in the other direction. And we'll do palm tree today. We'll take one open palm here, place the elbow there, and circle the hand around. And the other direction. Still holding the block against the back of the chair. Other side. So as we move through the arms here, we keep that engagement in the core with the block behind our back and release it down. Lift one foot, push it out, bring it in and down. This prevents us from curving over as we try to use the lower part of the body here. Keeps us tall. So good use of blocks if you have them. No need to go out and get them. Join me for the next video and I'll show you how to use the blanket in a similar way. Take a nice big inhale here, palm to palm. Let's bring them right in front of our heart. Press in. And release out to the fingertips. Press in. Yep, the block's still back there. One more. And release them down and give them a shake. Let's take a little twist. Now we're going to keep the block there. We're going to turn. Oh, that's a little more difficult because we've got that block there. We're going to hold that block. We're just going to place the hands on the side of the chair here and turn our gaze over our shoulder. One more breath. And then we'll go to the other side. And here again, this might be beneficial to have the block under the feet. Give it a try. It sort of brings the twist more up into the ribs. Look out over your shoulder in the other direction. And then come on back to center. Let's take one hand down and lean the ear towards it, reaching downward. The other hand can reach downward. And release back to center. Tilt the other ear, hand comes down first, and then the other arm comes down, deepening the stretch. How we doing? And then come on back to center and make a circle with your nose. A small circle here and in the other direction. Well done, well done. So if you've got props, you might remove them now as you come into our Shavasana in the chair. Or you could put that block under your feet. Pause and check in with your breath. Roll the shoulders forward. And let's just release through the spine here a little bit. Tuck. And then sit tall. Dropping the shoulders down. Again, cat and cow. And then leaving the shoulders down your back, your elbows in nice and tight, looking downward or actually closing your eyes for a moment. Look inward and feel the strength you developed. Maybe you work today with a little more intensity using your props, the block and the chair. Couple more breaths here until everything equals out. And we flutter our eyes open and close our class by saying Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Yoga Plus today, the blocks.